Hi. Today's episode is Diatonic Harmony. And it's a very fancy name, but all it means is using the major scale and that there are corresponding chords for each of the notes in the major scale. So that's what we're going to talk about and why it's cool to use. So for every note, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, there's a corresponding chord. Major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, major. We'll get into all what it is and how to use it and everything, and I'm going to try to keep it kind of simple and not make it as complicated. You don't need to learn this like circle of fifths or anything, but try to extract a couple of useful things so you can begin using diatonic harmony. And why it helps is when this is the whole, when someone says 1, 6, 4, 5 or 1, 6, 2, 5, not only will you know what chords they are in any key. If say 1, 6, 2, 5 in B, you'll know how to play it. But you'll know what chords they are and also which ones are minor and which ones are major. You'll know that because if someone says it verbally, they're assuming that the 6 is minor or whatever. As a little review, something I mentioned earlier, but this is a big part of it. The relative minor, any chord, we're going to do a lot in the key of G like we have been. So I'm in G. If you go down 3 steps, 3 half steps, 3 frets, that is the relative minor. So G, the major, E minor is the relative minor. The key of E minor is the same chords as the key of G major. Don't worry about it so much, but do know that's the 6th. 7, the root, 7, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, root 7, 6, root 7, 6. That's the relative minor. It's the first one we're going to learn. Okay, that's in there. Now let's do the diatonic harmony and see if we can get it going. As we know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, root 7, 6, down 3 frets, 5, down a string, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. I'll run you through them and I'll tell you the easy way to remember some of them. You don't really only have to remember some of them and the important parts. 1 is major. 2 is minor. 2 and 3 are minor. 2, 3, and 6. 1 is major. 2 is minor. 3 is minor. 4 and 5 are major. 5 is major. 6 is minor. The 7th we're not going to do. It's actually half diminished, but we're not going to use it. If you ever have to, you can play a minor, but we're just going to ignore it for today. Okay? And then the root. So, important thing to remember, there are 3 minors and 3 majors. The 3 majors are 1, 4, and 5. And we use cowboy chords too. 1, 4, 5. And the 3 minors are 2, 3, and 6. Sounded like a song, didn't it? So if you learn these, and I want you to use bar chords, because that's the easiest way to see them and remember them, but also transpose it in your head to when you have a song that's in cowboy chords, I want you to think about where the bass is. So 1, 2, 3, 4, D, 1. That's it. Well, major, minor, minor, major, minor. Excuse me, major, major, minor, kind of minor, and major. So if you use these chords, we're in the key of G, if you use these chords in any order, you'll have write a song. It's going to sound good. So now you can write all kinds of songs. You also will recognize or be able to learn 10,000 songs because they're all that way. Okay, look at the fretboard. Don't memorize the chords or what chord they are. And you can when transposing, you can do it the same way that you do like single notes. You don't even have to think of the name of the chords that much. If I have a song that goes 1 6 2 5, 1 6 2. If I go to another key, B flat, doesn't matter. So it makes for easy transposition. And use bar chords to do that, and that's real easy. The other real important use of this is obviously the common and familiar patterns that they use, chord patterns they use, but also just little 2 chords, because little 2 chord pieces that go in there. Very common, obviously, is the 2-5. So if I'm in G, a 2-5 is A minor to D. After a while, you recognize both seeing it and you'll recognize hearing it, which is a really cool part. And this is used in all kinds of stuff. George Harrison got sued for stealing this song. Or, what's his name, who can't sing? Carole King, who can't sing. Or like every Carlos Santana song is. So anyway, that's a 2-5. It's also can replace a chord. It's also used in, all the time. It also can be used as a turnaround. You'll see it when you get into, if you get into any jazz or complicated popular songs or your well-written songs, you'll see a lot of 2-5s all the time. Obviously, another thing that people like to do, people like the sound of moving up a string or down a string. So 1 to the 4. Down a string to the D. Very common. 1-4-5. This is all blues and all old-time rock and roll. There's 1-4-5, but that's a whole 12-bar blues. Rock and roll. Really? Go, go. Anyway, that's rock and roll. 1-4-5 is also useful for your reggae sounds. Just so you know, the 5, we're talking about major, minor, minor, major, major. This 5 is technically and often a dominant chord. And if you're playing a song trying to figure something out and you are comfortable with dominant chords, always try one for the 5. But you can go ahead and use mixture. Another trick, I'm going to throw in these side tips that are just to confuse you, in case you're not confused already. If you can't figure out what key a song is in, if it ever has 2 major chords right next to each other, 2 frets apart, they're usually the 4 and the 5. Because that's the only place in diatonic harmony where that happens. So let's switch to A. The 3rd. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's your F sharp minor. You're always seeing it, as you know. F sharp minor means you're in A. Just like C sharp minor means you're in E, because anyway, that's diatonic harmony. Lastly, show you some of the standard progressions that everybody always talks about. The 1, 6, 4, 5. Stand by me. To the 6, just as a C. So 1, 6, 4, 5. The 2, 5 we already talked about. The 1, 6, 2, 5 is more of a turnaround, and that's kind of cool. I'll do it in A. One, 6, 2, B, which is minor. And to see it as a 2, 5, you can go 1, 6, 2. Very common, 1, 6, 2, 5. And then fun one is the 1, 5, 6, 4, which we'll do in A. Oops. Yeah, 1, 5, excuse me. 1, 5, 6, 4. Do it in G. This is the one on that video where they play like 10,000 songs and say, oh, they're all the same chords. This is it. It's 1, 5, 6. So fool around with these and you'll see on the handout they're written with Roman numerals. Big Roman numerals mean major, little Roman numerals mean minor. But just fool around with it. But the key thing to do, what can you do next? Think about some of the most important chords there. The 2, the 5, the 4, the 6 and the 3. I'm also going to hand out Against the Wind, so you can just see you see something that might not be one that we've talked about, but if you look at the chords, you can figure out working backwards what they are. Here's Against the Wind, which is G, great song. And that 1-3 is really cool. Operator. So learn the little, just like learn the little transitions between two chords and how they sound. So the 1 to the 3. They often go to the 4. That's a cool thing. Last thing, because I always have to throw something else in here in case you aren't confused, is certain character of certain chords. And you probably know this about the tension and release. The 5 is the high tension and it's waiting to be resolved. So whenever, let's say we're in G, whenever you get to that D, it's waiting to resolve. Any questions? Good. And then later, we can all get into jazz and bossa nova, of course. That's for a later time. Any questions? Good. Thank you.